to Let's Talk Tuesday. This is the podcast where we have real conversations about learning, leadership, and what it truly takes to help people and organizations grow. Each week, we bring together different perspectives, experiences, and voices to explore what learning development really means, why it matters, and how we can do it better. Today, we have a very special guest, Julia Hurley from Knoxville, Tennessee, who has over 13 years of experience in contract negotiation, politics, and is a published author. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk Tuesday with you.
Yes, let's talk. So tell us a little bit about your background and what your focus is today.
Gosh, I have such a very interesting life story. So I won't start from the very beginning because that would just take all day. However, I do have over a decade of experience in contract negotiation, including real estate transactions. I'm a broker as well. I own a brokerage and I represent an NIL collegiate athletes, one of which is now in the NFL. So a lot of contract negotiation expertise there. So that's always fun. And then I was a politician for a decade. I was an elected official
Wow.
for a decade, which was crazy. So I started at the state level and worked my way home, which most people do the opposite. But I wanted to go as big as I could, as fast as I could, and then bring that back home. And my last thing is I am a published author of 2 books, 1 children's book and 1 coaching book.
Very exciting. Wow, that is a very eclectic background, and I'm super excited to dig in with you. With Let's Talk Tuesday, we always like to talk about we're people focused, right? Always. And so, one of the things that I found in my career, so I'm in learning development, large scale learning development for global organizations, and I work with people from all over the world. It's so much fun. And even in my quote unquote industry, because each industry has learning development embedded into it, but even within the learning development field, even the experts who have been at it for decades have different, very drastically different definitions of what learning development means. So based off of all the lives you've lived, both, corporate and government and independent, talk to me a little bit about when I say what is learning development, what does learning development mean to you?
Oh my gosh, that's probably the honest to God, the best question I've ever been asked. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I love this question. So, in my personal opinion, it's experience. End of
Hmm.
story, hands down, it's experience. If you are not willing to start something, you're never going to learn it. It doesn't matter. You can open every book, you can read every book. But I say that in context with opportunity to be able to start something.
Hmm. Hmm.
So those 2 things have to go hand in hand and they have to be understood simultaneously. For example, if someone is, oh gosh, what was the name of that movie that Will Smith played in where he had a son and they were homeless and he was vying
Pursuit
for
of
this
happiness.
pursuit of happiness? Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. That is a rare 1/2 of a 1%er. That perseverance, that ability to create the loss of fear of rejection and that stick-to-itiveness, that is a beautiful story that we tell people that they can do every day. The reality of that story is finding food, water, and shelter, your 3 basic needs, is much harder than people would like to believe it is. It's much more of a challenge than people would like to believe it is. So we want to believe that that perseverance is available to everyone. I believe we all are born with it. I believe that we all have an opportunity to learn, but at the same time, we don't all have the opportunity to learn or start something at the same level or pace as others, right?
Hmm. Hmm. We don't
So
start from the
just
same
starting.
point of the
Exactly.
starting line. Yeah.
Exactly. And that can be unbelievably discouraging
Hmm.
to many, many, many people. Fear of where your next meal is coming from, fear of rejection, fear of, well, if I make this step or decision for myself, I won't have the support system because I will no longer be like the other people around me. And therefore, I have to get to know people that I don't know in a position I'm not familiar with. And what if those people reject me and then I have no one? Fear of loneliness, fear of failure, the fear that people carry inside of them drives people away from starting things. And then when you start something, it's very scary as well. So your fear of starting it is also fear of failing at it. I think that pushing yourself to an absolute limit of accepting that it exists, fear exists, failure exists. If you can fail at one thing every single day, no matter what it is, let's start from childhood, you fear of trying to make a new friend. Can I share your crayons? And someone says no, and your feelings are hurt. If you encourage children to start that every day, find a different friend, ask for something new. If it's something small that you can create that brainwave and that pattern of accepting failure, no matter what level it is, as you age, you will be afraid of nothing. You'll say, I'm
So
going to put my
true.
name on this ballot. I'm going to run for a seat that nobody knows my name and I'm going to win. And you do. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to start a new career and a new business. I'm going to quit everything I've ever known, this 401k that I have, this life insurance policy that I have, this health insurance plan that I have. I'm leaving. I'm gone. I leave Monday. I'm going to do this thing that I've always wanted to do. Your family might not approve. Your friends might not approve. You may be alone forever. But if you don't do it, if you're too afraid, you won't do anything.
Yeah, regret is way worse than the fear of the unknown. But
100%.
you're right, for a lot of people, it's very debilitating. And so one of the things that we talk about is you have to break it down. And I love what you talked about because I'm very biased for action. It's breaking it down to so what will happen. I'm terrified that that person's not going to share their crayons with me. I'm terrified that person's going to hang up on me or laugh in my face that I'm running for a state seat. And so what? So what if they do, right? And when you actually break it down to what will be the real consequence of that, when it takes it out of the vague and into the specific, you realize, oh, is is that am I going to let that person dictate my life? Am I going to let this vague fear prevent me from starting something that I know is where my passion is headed or where I can achieve? Absolutely love it. So, in today's world, why do you think learning development? We talked a little bit about this, but the next where we usually take this on Let's Talk Tuesday is we talked about what learning development is or what is defined as. Why is it so important in today's world?
Learning development has no, okay, the education system in America, that's where I'm at, and I would say in most places, is underdeveloped. We're 25 to 30 years behind on what we would personally need to succeed in the future, right? We are not developing children to create an atmosphere. We are teaching children to work in an atmosphere that won't exist for them by the
Yeah.
time that they graduate high school.
It's so true.
Yeah, we are not developing a world of learners. We are developing a world of workers. And if you want to be a learner, you are already an outlier. You are already a what working conditions, what corporations would consider a problem. If you are seeking knowledge and seeking to learn and seeking to develop yourself outside of the status quo, you are already a problem. And you
Well,
have to be okay with that.
it depends what level we're talking about here, right? So sure,
Sure.
if you want your underlings, because you're right, the US, especially the US school system, was set up for the Industrial Revolution. They're teaching people to follow the rules. But now we have this crisis at the top at corporate. I work with Fortune 500 companies, and they have major crisis of innovative thinking, critical thinking, negotiation, that because that takes creativity and it takes not following the rules, but learning about it and then figuring out new ideas and new ways to solve solutions and solve problems. And so they found that it's really terrifying and haunting some of the statistics behind this at the age at which you look at kindergartners and the things that they come with from a creativity perspective. And by the time those same kids get to middle school, the percentages are abysmal with the way that they can do like creative thinking, innovative thinking, design, development of constructs. And you think it'd be opposite. You think as they get older that they would have more in their arsenal, but especially with AI, technology advances, the crutches are getting greater, and therefore the actual capacity is getting smaller. And so organizations are at a crisis level right now where they're having such a hard time finding people that can step into those more senior roles.
I think that the crisis is not finding people. I think the crisis for them is finding people who are like them.
Mm.
And that's a fear. That's a leadership fear that
Hmm.
really needs to be addressed. So I do not speak corporate speak purposefully.
Hmm.
I do that on purpose. I do it
Hmm.
unbelievably well
Hmm.
and choose not to.
Hmm.
I want to be able to speak the way that I feel like speaking to get my thoughts out clearly
Hmm.
and create a conversation around creativity, right? For a
Right.
solution. However, when I am limited by corporate speak, there's a specific way it has to be presented, and there's a specific way in a chain of command. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for you. I'm not the CEO. I'm not getting paid $50 million to do this for you. I'm not doing that for you. And that's what they want. They still want the workers, but they want creative workers. They want thought leaders, but not too leadies, not too late leady. They want thought, but not too much thought or creativity. They want it
Mhm.
their way and they want to be saved at the same time. You can't have both.
Well, it's true.
There has to be a conglomerate there.
And when you look at like they've been done multiple business studies on this, and the more diverse the team is, the more diverse the company is, the more diverse in thought, not just diversity, but diverseness of thought, it's actually correlated with higher gross margin profits, better engagement, lower retention. People want to be at these companies that have a lot of different types of people thinking that where it's not this is the box and you have to play in this box because for obvious reasons, but the science is there behind it, the data is there that shows that companies that want to succeed, they need people who are not thinking the same.
They need it. They don't hire for it.
Right, because it
They
scares
really
them.
don't.
It
It
scares them,
scares
but
them.
if they wanted to focus on the numbers, just the pure money numbers of
Right.
it,
But
it
at the
will
end
do
of the
them
day,
a benefit.
it's not always about money. And I wish I could say that and it wasn't true. A lot of people say just follow the money. It's always about money. It's not. It's about power. Power and
Hmm.
money. Money is power. Let's get
Hmm.
that straight. Money is power, but power is not money.
Right,
Power is power.
right.
I believe there was a TV show called Game of Thrones. I'm sure many people listening to this have watched that show. And there is an episode, a season in there where the queen, whatever,
Mercy.
Cersei, yes, and she was surrounded by guards and a guy that I can never remember a character in this book in this show that said to her, "I have all this knowledge, I have all this power over you," and she laughed and she snapped her fingers. And all of the guards circled this guy with their swords. And she leaned in and she said, "Let's not mistake something. Power is power."
Right.
End of story, period. People don't want to give that up. They don't want to give that up at any level from the top down. Once you have some monicum of control of your life and other things around you, it's power. It's
Mhm.
powerful. It's intoxicating. And while money is also intoxicating, usually they come together. Power and money come together. And if you give that up, you no longer have power. You'll have money. But ask anybody that's won the lottery how happy they are. They're going to tell you they're not. Ask Elon Musk how happy he is. He tells you he's not. Money does not make the world go round. It is power.
Mhm.
People do not want to give that up. So they want other people to give them the knowledge that they have, the thinking processes, and they'll give them a little bit of money in exchange and expect other people to accept the money as their happy place. They want the power. And for you to find a creative thinker who is ready and willing to think outside the box, push the status quo, be in front of the camera, give the ideas, they are also seeking power.
So
Somebody has to give.
yeah, so this kind of lends itself perfectly to the next question I always like to ask my guests, but what do you wish companies knew or did differently as it relates to learning and development?
Same as I wish politicians would do, put some term limits on your leadership. You know, I mean, geez, there'd be a whole lot easier if you would say, "Hey, listen, we're going to bring in a new board of directors. We're going to bring in a new CEO. We all agree that this person will serve a decade and leave."
Mhm.
They could be an advisory board. They could be, advisor to whatever, but they leave. You rotate through. You bring in a younger generation. You force that in leadership. I think that's one of the only ways to do it.
So you're forcing the change, you're forcing things to ideally get with the times, but that's not
Right.
always does, even just because someone might be younger or less experienced, it's interesting how it still seeps in somehow. But that being said, so you feel like if there was a term limit on it, it would it would basically guarantee some kind of change, some kind of catalyst for new, ideally better, but not always. Not
Not
always.
always better, but
So,
different. And you could keep that last person as an advisor. Say,
mhm.
okay, well, you'll serve here a decade. We'll put you on the advisory for 4 years. And those relationships, it would force that person to bring someone else in with them, maybe their last 4 years of their decade, start grooming them for that position, start prepping them for the leadership, start prepping them for what the expectations are for the next generation. And then that person takes over and does what they want to do. And then they have to bring somebody in 4 years before theirs. It's a system that would work if people wanted it to
Hmm. So then, not just at the leadership level, but at any level, really, because
at
you
any
also have people
level.
who get stuck in their roles for decades, like analysts, and certain people are just kind of cogs in the wheel and they're happy with that, but shaking up the status quo so that there is that constant progress.
There's a saying, better the devil you know. That's what we
Yeah.
say in the South. Better the
Right.
devil you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they're a good person or a bad person. You know what they're going to do, so you know what to expect. People like habit.
Hmm.
People like stability, whether it's negative stability or positive stability. They
Right.
train their brains to think that way because, again, we go back to educational development. That's what we train people to believe they need, and
Hmm.
that's what they believe.
Right. It's true.
So that's what
Yeah.
our leadership provides.
All right. I always ask guests to tell us one actionable tip or takeaway that people can apply in their lives today to head in the right direction, whatever that might be for them. What's one actionable tip that people can use today?
So there's a book that I read called The Empowered Wife. It has absolutely nothing to do with this, but everything to do with it at the same time. Okay.
Okay, tell me.
This book is called The Empowered Wife, and there are 7 steps in this book for you to be the perfect wife. And I mean that. I love it. I love the book. My husband loves the book. We read it together. We do these steps together, by the way.
Sure.
So, first step is do something for yourself every day for 15 minutes, no matter what. Period. End of story. Whatever it is. I'm currently learning Italian. I do it every single day for 15 minutes. It is only 15 minutes. If you want 15 minutes to play Candy Crush, you do that for you in the room you want it, in complete silence, how you want it, when you want it. You want a pedicure? Go get it. You want to curl your hair and do your makeup for 15 minutes, you set a timer. 15 minutes. You want that? Do it. You want to get healthier? Get on the treadmill. Set your timer for walking for 15 minutes, not 1 minute later. Whatever it is, you do something for you, with yourself, for you only, not for someone else, not with someone else, for you.
Yeah, in my
Every
book
single
of
day, once a day.
yeah, Framework for Excellence that I wrote, I did a similar thing. You have to set yourself up for success, and that means you have to invest in yourself. So I have a very, I call it self-care, but you have to do something that is fueling you, whatever that may be, like you said. Okay, that's one.
Yep.
What's next?
The second thing that I do is, and I love about this, is be the person you want them to be.
Yeah,
End of story, period. And them can be your spouse, your partner, your children, your boss, whatever it is.
right.
Be the person you want them to be.
You
Do
have to
you
mirror.
want to right? Do
Yeah.
you want to come home to somebody who just got off work and throws their bags on the floor and is in a bad mood and dumps on you the minute they walk? Do you want to receive that? Do I want to receive that energy? No. So then I'm not going to bring that energy. Now, what will happen, which is a guaranteed situation, one of two things: your partner, your business partner, your boss, your employees are going to respond very positively to this. They're going to change their personality because you're changing yours, or they're going to think something's wrong. They're going to make a worse step in their behavior. And at that point, you'll have to make a choice. Do I want to continue being in a relationship with this boss, with this employee, with this spouse, with this friend, whatever? That's a different story. But you still have to make the action to be the person that you want them to be. You must change yourself to
Yeah.
change others.
Yeah, you have control over your own actions. And I love what you just said because where a lot of people fail at this is they try it for a day, a week, a month, and they're like, I'm not seeing changes in others, so I'm just going to give up. And like, no, you have to persist. You have to keep going, like we talked about earlier. And the other piece of that too is a lot of times people will mirror you and get better. But I do a lot of change management across what I do. It's usually during a large people change. And it is a cycle. And so people might resist. And I always warn senior leadership, usually behavior gets worse before it gets better. So just expect the dip and then but you have to persist through to get to the outcome of a better behavior. And so as long as you know it's coming, you can persevere. But if you don't know it's coming, you're like, what? I'm doing all these things and I'm making it worse. Like keep going, keep going. There is light on the other side. All
It
right, what's
takes
four?
66 days to form a habit. 66 days. There's only so many days in the year. So, how many habits can you recreate or create in a year? Not very many. 66 days is what it takes. So, that's 66 consecutive days to form a new habit and a new communication pattern. So, I think that if you put a huge calendar on your refrigerator and put 66 boxes on it, and you told your entire family, get the buy in, there you go. The next step, get the buy in. I'm going to do this and I need your support. I'm going to do this and I'm going to need your support. I'm going to do this and I expect your support. I'm going to do this. Can I count on your support? And everybody says yes. And they sign it on the fridge, 66 boxes. And you do it every day. And you remind them, you said you would support me. I'm on day 13. You said you would support me. Give me my 15 minutes. I'm going to do this for myself. I need this. 66 days. You would support me. You're creating a habit for them and yourself, and you're holding them accountable to something so small, but it's setting a boundary. It's going to feel so uncomfortable. Get used to being uncomfortable because every time you learn something and do something new, it feels awful. Jesus didn't become a carpenter overnight. Okay. This is what I tell people. Even Jesus looked bad when he did his first wooden goblet. Eventually, apparently, it turned out great. So there are things that you are going to have to develop, but get the buy-in. That would be my next actionable step. Make
And
sure
it's
that other people
as
around
a
you hold you accountable.
The other thing that I love about this that I do for corporate coaching is you're already embedding in and creating accountability partners. So not only are you holding them to the boundary, but you told them you were doing this. So you are responsible for holding yourself to it and to keep going, even if it's day 30, even if it's day 45, you want to check that box that you've put in the time that you said you were going to do, and you really gave yourself a real shot. But now you have accountability partners looking at the fridge going, oh, you're missing the box. You got to keep going. So helping each other
Give
stay
yourself an
accountable.
award.
Mm-hmm.
Give a reward.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a family, be like, listen, if we can all do this and I can do this and I'm going to do this, if you have the money, be like, we're going to take a trip to Disney, or we're going to go to the movies, or I'm going to buy popcorn for everybody and we're going to stay at home and we're going to, whatever it is, I don't care. I
Something to
really
be
don't
excited
care.
about. Yeah.
It's something that you and your family or you and your accountability partners can be excited about, and you do it. Because
Yeah.
if you don't do it, two things are going to happen. You're going to disappoint yourself to the point that you'll never try again. You're going to disappoint the people around you to where they'll never trust that you're going to say what you're going to do ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And as a leader, you do not want that.
It's very true. Your word is your most important thing
That's
as
all
a
you have.
leader. Like if you lose your credibility, you're done. So,
Yep, that's
all
all
right,
you
we're
have.
on five. What's five?
Oh my gosh.
You started us down this
I
trail, so
know, I have to remember because my
you do
life is
something
just
for
going so well
yourself.
to actually do these.
Yeah, you
Um,
persist, you get the buy-in, set the boundary. What else?
I don't know. I can't remember, honestly.
Well, it's a lot of good things
There
that
were
we
seven.
work
It's
on.
pretty good. We got five. I remembered five. It's pretty good. I think getting the buy-in was my most difficult one because I had to remind everybody else that I was going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, there were heated words. Why am I having to remind you about this? You all know that I'm trying to do this. I told you, you said you would support me. You said that you would give me this time. You have to do these things. So you do get the pushback. And when you get the pushback, you have to stand your ground. You have to stick up for yourself. You're like, no, I'm doing this. You said you would support me. I'm doing it. So support me or don't support me. And boy,
I'm
does
gonna
that scary.
I'm going to flip this back into learning development world because so often leaders say, my people need time management training, right? They sign up the person for time.
Sure.
It's not normally time management that's needed, to be honest. It's usually a leadership issue, a communication issue, but I won't go there. So I, as a leader, say these 10 people need to be signed up for time management. I sign them up, I pay the money, and then the day of the training comes and goes, yeah, no, I need you to have time management, but actually I really need this report right now. And so a lot of times what we're doing with these big rollouts and training and development is the leaders, like making sure the leaders stay accountable and with it enough to be like, you made this commitment just as much as your people made this commitment. You have to release them. You have to give them the time for them to better themselves, for them to develop their skills, for them to invest in to be better in the future. And so often I love that, like it's a little bit of a flip, but it's perfectly circular in the sense that yes, I need to hold the people around me accountable. Like you said, you'd give me the space. And as an employee, I might say to my leader, you said that you supported me taking this training. But now it's like, oh yeah, but just one quick report real quick. And it's like, no, that's not you supporting the development. And the flip side of it, the leader side of it is, okay, I said I wanted these people to learn the skill, but now I'm bombarding them with three things the day of a training. How are they going to have the brain power and wherewithal to really dive into what they're learning if they're also worried that their boss is pinging them or asking for a report or doing these 10 other things? So it's that
So
clarity of focus.
100%. I tell my agents that work under my real estate brokerage, turn your phone on do not disturb when you're writing up a contract. That is, that's how you make money. It's how you feed your family. It's also how you'll get sued and lose your license.
If you make
So what, right, you make a mistake. There are no gotta minutes. Do I look like I have a minute right now? You close your door, you put a sign on the door that says writing a contract, do not knock, do not, the answer is no.
You
Whatever the
said
answer
that
is
so
right now, the
fast.
answer is no.
I have to
Yeah.
repeat it because I people might have missed it and it was so clever. I need to repeat what you just said. Got a minute contract? Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Got a minute? No, I'm writing a contract.
I love it. Love it. The
No, I don't.
got a minute amendment or whatever it is
Yeah.
making sure that you do not disturb. This
Do
is
not disturb.
not
I
a
ain't got a minute. Don't ask for one. You're not getting it.
love it.
So put the sign on your door. Busy. No. The answer is no. And whatever it is, put your phone on do not disturb. If you're in the middle of doing something that's going to create success for you and your family, the answer is no. And you have to set that boundary for yourself, including with your bosses. And I will tell you from experience, if you push back on your boss, they're going to be crotchety, but they are going to respect you. You can do it in a respectful way. You
If
just
you
say,
can
not at this
articulate it
moment,
well, right, exactly.
right?
It's about articulating, okay, well, I can pause what I'm doing and move on to your priority, but just know that means XYZ is not being handled. And then they'll be like, oh, it's not that I'm pushing back, it's that I am clearly focused on my priority. And so often people say they think that time is our most limited and valuable resource. It's actually not, it's focus. Focus is our most critical resource because what we focus on we get, right?
Expands.
Mindset, body, action,
Yep.
priorities, it doesn't matter. Focus is really the currency of where am I putting my focus and my energy into my time, into my limited time resource. Well, this
It
has
has been
been,
proven multiple times that we do not have the brain power to multitask.
yeah, there is no such thing as
Multiple
multitasking.
studies say this.
Yeah,
It does not exist. We
it
have
doesn't exist.
one electrical that goes from point A to point B for every decision we make, and it has to complete that wherever it's going. You can't do two at once. End of story, period. So if you're doing one thing and someone tries to pull you away from it, do that one thing to the best of your ability and do nothing else until it's done.
Yeah, because multitasking isn't really multitasking. It's brain shifting. You might think that you're multitasking and doing two things at once, but you're not. You're actually shifting your attention back and forth, and that causes a lot of fatigue. And you're not, to your point, the got a minute point, right? You're going to be distracted for a second. You might miss something. You might make
That might be
something.
the title of my next book. Got
I
a
love
minute?
it.
No.
You should do it. I support this. Well, thank you so much. This has been so much
Yeah,
fun. I appreciate you
absolutely.
sharing your passion, your spirit, your knowledge with us today. Just can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. We've loved having you here. We've covered a lot of ground, but just wanted to thank you so much for being part of today's episode. And with that, we'll begin to wrap up. So I hope this discussion gave our audience a few new perspectives, sparked some ideas, and left you with at least one takeaway you can put into action immediately. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and join us every Tuesday as we continue exploring learning, leadership, and what it takes to help people and organizations grow. And if today's conversation resonated with you, or if you'd like to join me for a future episode, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and let's talk again on Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.